Greetings in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We are gathered here today to discuss Law of One, session 2023 1121, which is quite recent. And so, do I have a volunteer to read?
I would enjoy.
Okay, great. So I'll read the question here, group question, and then Robert will read the answer. Ra says of compassion that it is the salvation of third density. They also say that seeing love in the moment is as the goal and lesson of third density. It is by learning to love that we graduate. Yet we see very loving people adopt what seem to be very confused positions about societal questions of consequence for the well-being of our population and the planet itself, taking up positions that contribute to an increasing and perhaps perilous fragmentation. We're wondering if you can speak to the role of discernment. What is discernment? Of what value is discernment in a density where there is no understanding? And how may we better exercise discernment?
I am Quo, and with this excuse me. Yeah. I am Quo, and with this instrument at this time, we greet each of you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. And we thank you for asking us to join your circle of seeking this day. It is a pleasure to be in the company of those who seek the one so ardently and perpetually as do we. It is a seeking which brings love and light to life upon your planet, within the heart of all those who so seek, and within the creation itself, for you are intensifying and personalizing that which is ever present, the one infinite creator. We ask, as always, that as we respond to this query today, which we find to be one with great insight, that you take our response, mull it over in your mind, and consider if it has value for you. If so, use it in a way that has meaning for you. If any words do not hold this meaning for you, then disregard them. If you will do this favor for us, once again, we will be more able to respond in a broader and deeper meaning for your query. You have correctly stated that love is the reason each entity within the third density has come here to discover within itself. For this is the density of choice, where you are able to take love and use it either in service to others or in the service to the self. This is the means by which the Creator may know itself more fully on each of these two paths, and know that this love does indeed exist within each portion of each moment. For it is the love of the one infinite Creator that has created all the one infinite creation out of that which you may call the light of love. These are your tools for moving through the third density in a manner which will allow you to utilize difficult catalysts that may bring you to your knees from time to time. And by the processing of this catalyst, find the love within the moment. For this is something just covered that up.
For this is
a great journey of third density. We say also that it is quite easy to misuse these tools, for within this third density illusion, you have the veil of forgetting that makes the perception of love, of the use of catalyst, and of your other selves in a manner which may be deleterious in the moment towards your desire to use what you have called discrimination in how you utilize one's individual perception of love and service. So many upon your planet are unaware that there is love in each moment. And for those entities, it is not a matter of discrimination, but of following the path of the mundane world, of seeking various benefits for the self, including gathering about one the money, the prestige, the family, the dwelling place, and so forth. That there are many, such as yourselves, who are consciously aware that this love has a purpose and is to be treasured and is that which they wish to do, and yet from time to time engage in the manifesting of difficult or deceitful activities that may meet their choice of the moment, to be filled with some kind of anger or fear or doubt or deception that makes it impossible to exercise the muscle of love. And so it is for these entities who know there is a choice and who from time to time do not make it to the best of their ability, even in their own estimation, so that they fall short of the mark, shall we say, and must regroup and reactivate the quality of discernment, of the judgment of the moment that emanates from the heart of the self. It is, unfortunately, shall we say, the case that these failures may often give such an entity the opportunity and the desire to, shall we say, reform the expression of love through a greater dissemination and discrimination of this feeling to those about one and perhaps even to the self, which is often the source and focus as well for these feelings of separation, non-acceptance, anger, and fear. It is necessary, therefore, for the conscious seeker of truth to focus first upon the love for the self. And by this, we do not mean that selfish kind of love that does not feel love for others, but the kind of love that builds a foundation within the being that then may be shared with others in a more inspired and informed manner. This, we feel, is the proper use in many cases of discrimination, so that one may reflect within those moments of meditation and contemplation that which has flowed forth from one's being, from one's heart, from one's desire, and make, shall we say, an adjustment in the perception of love, of the self, of the Creator in all.
All right. Cool. So you guys want to discuss that for now, and then I'll make a summary here.
I found it trippy how Toby jumped up here right at the time where it was saying how sharing the love with others after he was right there just at that moment when I was like stroking his back. Couldn't hear either of Ed Fred or Desiree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm here now. I was muted. But I like how they talk about self-love, because I truly feel like if you don't, how can you truly love another or really know what it is if you don't know what it is for yourself? And obviously there is a separation between the selfish love, like where you're greedy and whatever else, and all you care about is yourself. But it is very important, and I think that a lot of people don't even realize that they don't understand it fully to even know that they don't even love themselves. So in the grand scheme of it all, you really do have to start with the first person, you, to be able to truly love another and everything else.
Yes.
Isn't that the same concept as making sure that your cup is overflowing so that you have enough to fill others' cups?
And not covering your light.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I managed to get the summary here. The essence of third density and love. The third density is defined as a realm of choice where entities are present to discover and express love. This love is central to the third density experience and is a direct manifestation of the one infinite creator. All right. I guess we know that.
But it's cool that when you think, that it's a created situation.
Mm-hmm. Desiree's mic is a bit loud there. Okay.
Desiree's checking in on a different name. See how
I accidentally like logged out or something, or
Oh,
when
okay.
I put it down, it it's probably me down there. Follow Discernment. I don't know, but I'll mute me because I'm driving and that the background noise isn't like blowing in your ears.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Desiree. Okay. Cool. So, where were we? Here. Just adjusting my screen. Service to others versus service to self. In the third density, the way love is used defines an entity's path. It can be directed towards serving others or serving oneself, each path offering a different way for the creator to experience and understand itself. The challenge of the veil of forgetting. The third density experience is complicated by the veil of forgetting, which obscures the perception of love, and understanding the experience is catalyst. This veil can lead to misinterpretation and misuse of love.
And it, when I think about the veil too, it's amazing how it seems like it's I can easily picture it as like a membrane surrounding like a fluid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, I know one of the meditations that ChatGPT recommends for like atheists or secular people is imagine yourself as a drop of water in the ocean.
Right.
And like, because you are made of water, you are basically a drop of water on land.
Yeah, so it's like 70%, at home feeling if you meditate about water. Because you're 70% water.
Yeah. And so you just like imagine that membrane dissolving, or you imagine going deeper into yourself until you pierce through that membrane and connect with the ocean, and then you are one.
And
with
the oceans are 70% of the world.
Yes, that's a good point as well.
Yes, yes, thank you. That's true. That shows our connection to Earth, and yeah, it just does. The mammalian presence.
Yeah, what resonated with me was this next part about how there's people that are unaware. Awareness and unawareness of love. Many on earth are not aware that love exists in every moment, leading them to pursue material or mundane goals. Conversely, those aware of love's purpose might still struggle with difficult emotions or actions contrary to their understanding of love. Yeah. It's true. A lot of people, like when I'm promoting like peace or kindness or love on Twitter, they're like, "What drugs are you on?" or things like that. Because for some reason they don't think it's normal to be kind and loving. Like,
tell them you're on the love drug.
Yeah,
you're
well,
100% right. Anytime someone even with speaking, and you're just being matter of fact, everyone takes it the wrong way. Everything that should be normalized isn't, which is crazy to show just how off course we are, I think, as a whole.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of backwardsness especially in the media, because it's controlled by the service to self people who want to promote fear and anger, and they're averse to love. I was reading this book by Alex Jones recently, and he was theorizing that the reason that Tucker Carlson was fired was his last public presentation before he got fired, where he promoted love and prayer and Jesus, and what do you call it? The guy who owns Fox. He's not a Christian. Let's put it that way.
It begins with an M, like Mulder or Mulder.
Yeah, Murdoch. I don't know.
Yeah, Murdoch. I know, right?
Something like that. Murdoch.
Rupert
Murdoch. Yeah, Mordor.
Well, there was Marduk. Marduk was Sumerian or Babylonian.
Yeah. So, learning from failures and missteps. Failures in expressing or understanding love offer opportunities for growth. These experiences can help in refining one's discernment and judgment, especially regarding love's expression and reception. Importance of self-love. The foundation for expressing love outwardly begins with loving oneself appropriately. This form of self-love is not selfish, but is essential for sharing love more effectively with others. Discrimination. Love. Proper discrimination or discernment in the context of love involves reflecting on one's feelings, actions, and motivations. Adjustments should be made to align more closely with the essence of love for oneself and the Creator. Continuous growth. And the process aids in spiritual evolution of the seeker. Oh, and there's the image for it. All right, we want to move on to the next section.
I don't know.
Or do you want to explore something else?
No, just that thinking about that, how love in our lives, how we're manifesting that each in our own unique way. So if you can't really have a session in front of hundreds of people with the cure-all, the one thing which will fix all of you, because they're all unique.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I like? I like how it correlates with Jesus' teaching of love everyone as yourself and your neighbor, right?
Yeah. Continual self-reflection and adjustment and understanding and expression of love. We have a new person, Arpan, that joined us. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or you just...
Hi, Arpan.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
Hey, we're just reading, what do you call it? Recent LL research channeling.
Yeah, I saw your post in the chat box for one of the groups we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I'd join. I'm waiting for some food.
Cool. Yeah, I think we were just about to start on, I think it's the continuation of what we were just talking about. Robert, did you want to continue?
Well, sure.
Okay. Here.
I am Quo, and I am now with this instrument. We offer our appreciation to this instrument and to the circle for the dedication and fidelity to the process of tuning and challenging, as are the rituals and procedures that allow for this contact to take place in the way that it does. For these are, in a sense, acts of discernment, those rituals that allow each individual within the circle to align themselves with those ideals and desires that speak to the larger path that each has chosen. And it is in this alignment with these ideals that we also are capable of joining you and accepting your invitation to this circle. In a way, we resonate and thus come into greater relationship with you through these acts of discernment. And it is this dynamic, as we have described it in this context, that plays out in all contexts within the life of the seeker as they move and dance through the creation in an attempt to discover the ideals and desires that they wish to come into alignment with. And it is what has been described as discernment that allows the seeker to resonate in a way that then both attracts and co-creates the manifestation of these desires. This process of discernment, as we have discussed, can be placed within the context of your journey through the octave. For you find yourself, as we have described many times, in a very formative stage upon your journey. That is the third density, that density of self-awareness and of choice, moving toward the fourth density of love. And as we have described it, compassion, which then further moves toward the fifth density of wisdom and light. These three stages upon your journey can be examined, not just in that larger context that you will experience throughout many lifetimes, and which will define great steps upon your journey to the Creator. But these ideas, the creation of these densities, are alive in each moment that you experience now, where you find yourself in the third density. You may find these teachings of self-awareness and compassion and wisdom to be relevant to you in your current incarnation, in your current context, and in each lesson that you are attempting to relate to and integrate upon your path. Within this journey of self-awareness within the third density, the illusion is, you may say, the strongest due to the veil of forgetting. And this veil has allowed what can be described as an illusion of self to be recognized, the idea of self-awareness. This is an awareness of self, not just as a singular being, but as a self that is in relationship to other. Whether this other be the ground upon which one walks, the chair within which one sits, the other selves of the family, the partners, the friends, those other selves that one passes on the street, those other selves within the various tribes and gatherings that you find yourself a part of throughout your lifetime, the otherness of your environment, and the world that you find yourself within, and the very planet that you find yourself upon. All of these things can seem to the self as other. And it is, thanks to the blessing of illusion, that you, as a co-creator, a divine entity with sovereignty over your own domain of free will, can choose freely how you wish to come into relationship with each of these things. It is your honor and your duty to do so as you become more and more aware of your environment and of your other selves and of all that surrounds you and seems other to you to discover within that otherness the sameness that is at the heart of your own being and at the heart of all of the creation around you. This process of coming into relationship can then be viewed in that context we have described of the greater journey through compassion into wisdom, not just throughout these large densities of your octave, but within your own incarnation. We have described the faculty and aspect of your journey called compassion to be the salvation of your third density. I'm going to read that again.
Okay.
We have described the faculty and aspect of your journey called compassion to be the salvation of your third density.
That's right.
Yeah. That's its own meme right there.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is in part because it is that density towards which you move as a seeker through the third density. And it is that lodestar that you may believe in and follow that will deliver you through the dark night of this density to your ultimate destination. The compassion is that thing that you hear within your heart, the song that you realize that you desire to dance in harmony with and in rhythm too. But in your question, you have asked, how then does it seem that there can be loving other selves, individuals dedicated to compassion, who can make what seem to be confused decisions and hold seemingly harmful orientations? And what role then does discernment play in untangling this confusion for the self and for other self? We would, in the context of this particular discussion, define the discernment and discrimination as a faculty of wisdom the primary faculty of the fifth density, but also that which is available to the seeker within your own density, particularly within the interactions and catalysts that you experience within the blue ray energy center. But we have found throughout all experience that we have observed and taken part in ourselves, that the bypassing of compassion into this seeming wisdom or discernment often results in an exacerbation of separation. The discernment that is concerned with how one might properly interact in the wisest way, the attempt to predict the outcome of one's actions to the furthest reaches that one can see. Excuse me. To know what is right, not just for the self, but for the other self. One can engage with these faculties without a foundation of compassion, and in doing so can cause confusion for the self and for the other self, and perpetuate the type of harm described within the query. It is for this reason that we have described compassion as being the salvation of the third density. For the love found within the heart, the hallmark of the fourth density towards which you as seekers are attempting to move and to discover within the present moment and upon your planet, is an influence that can dissolve the separations that are exacerbated by a cold discernment. And it is primary on the path of the seeker in service to others to the faculty of knowing and seeing with clear eyes. And this is especially important within your current density, for the veil of forgetting creates an environment of deep confusion, and one can believe in the heart of being that what they are seeing is a certain way, that the way that your society is arranged should be a certain way, that the way that others should behave or interact should be a certain way for all to be comfortable and for peace to reign. But it is our experience and our perception, particularly of your own density, that the foresight is severely limited, despite the ability of one to convince oneself that one really does know best, that one can see far into the implications and the outcomes of one's own actions. And in this convincing, one can extend themselves beyond the bounds of compassion and into the realm of cold discernment and in attempt to control. It is only in the stepping back and the resting in faith that love exists in this moment right now. It can be sought in this moment right now, no matter the circumstances that one views in front of one, whatever the outcomes that one can predict of one's own actions or another self's actions. Love will reign no matter what. And the only relationship that one can form is to the present moment. And the choice of compassion is available in each of those moments eternally. It is through this choice that such separations can be dissolved or become transparent, and the hand of the Creator can then move one through compassion to make the choice that might result in the greater love reigning within one's life and upon one's planet. To accept that you cannot know with certainty that an other self is wrong in their convictions, that what they do cause harm, and that the only thing you can do is rest in the faith that they are the Creator as you are, and that discovering the connection of sameness between you and allowing this connection to develop and grow between you, that then the Creator can move with greater efficacy through that relationship and through you in that relationship.
This is a long one.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let me
I'm
just-
good.
Okay.
Can we
This-
go back to the part where they're talking about the process of compassion being our salvation?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
Um,
bookmark
I
there.
think it's interesting that compassion is not the verb in that sentence.
salvation.
Gotta see this. Yeah.
Journey, compassion to be, and this is the reason we have described compassion as being the salvation of third density. For the love found within the heart, the hallmark of the fourth density towards which you as seekers are attempting to move and to discover within the present moment upon your planet, is an influence that can dissolve the separations that are exacerbated by cold discernment. And it is primary on the path of the seeker in service to others, to the faculty of knowing and seeing with clear eyes. So, my understanding of this is that we are in third density and you want to evolve to fourth density, and your only way of getting out of third density is through love, is through the heart. Because otherwise you have without it you have that separation and exacerbated by a cold discernment, which would keep you lost in the cycle of samsara or third density.
Because you feel like you're understanding that there is no separation. The cold discernment can make itself believe that it sees itself as one with everything. That's it can. There's a
Yeah.
It takes an effort, but it can.
Well, yeah, if it's well, there's the service to self way of polarizing, and in that way it sees everything as subservient to itself, or as one in that case.
Even itself.
Mhm.
It doesn't like the matter it's made out of.
Mhm. Fred, did you have any more on this, or
No, I just I thought it was maybe that wasn't the exact quote I was remembering seeing.
Higher. It
But-
was
yeah? There's others. Attempt to
Okay.
discover.
The one that Robert repeated twice.
It was the one Robert commented on, yeah.
Okay, the one he repeated twice, that would be this one. We have described the faculty and aspect of your journey called compassion to be the salvation of your third density. And this is in part, here, I'll make it big for you guys. And this is in part because it is that density towards which you move as a seeker through the third density. And it is that lodestar that you may believe in and follow that will deliver you through the dark night of this density to your ultimate destination. Yeah, that is more the one that I was thinking of as well.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting how they're calling it the journey you call compassion. So,
The aspect of your journey called compassion.
yeah. So it being a journey means to me, it means that, it's not always an instantaneous one and done type of thing. It's a continual process of a journey, learning over and over and over in multiple different ways, different catalysts, different this and that and the other, that compassion is needed in every aspect of your life. That's like I mean it's just like realizing that anything is needed in a certain part in your life. If something repeats over and over and over again, you're eventually going to get the idea, hey, I should, maybe I should always keep napkins in my car, because every time I don't, it's just that sort of thing. It's like training you to keep compassion in your life. And it seems like once you learn that, I know you just go on to the next thing you learn, really, but I think that what they're saying, with the heart, the love being necessary for third density for us to graduate to the fourth density. That, I mean, we just keep learning that over and over again, but it's interesting how they worded it.
Ed?
Oh, damn it, Ed, raising your hand and shit. I've been waiting.
Oh, Desiree.
Hello.
Desiree, and then.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
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 So, in order for you to even be able to show compassion, you have to have an understanding of love and be able to love another, right? So, if our whole purpose here is to learn love and all of this, again, let's go back to Jesus. I really, truly, it does point out, like you were just saying, it's a journey. It absolutely is. First of all, how hard is it for us as humans to always be able to have that little sense of compassion or to see the greatness in somebody or to want to love your neighbor? Because some of them you probably want to punch in your head. So it is a journey of learning and everything. And to show compassion, you have to know how to love to even be able to do that. All right, now Ed, you can go ahead. I'm going to set this phone back down.
Okay, so a couple of bits. So the discernment part, I think it comes down to kind of knowing when to have compassion. So you're not kind of like crushed or whatever. But the compassion is the lesson you need to learn. And I think the main thing that I spoke about, like, is the whole thing of like balancing karma. The only things that can balance karma is service and sacrifice, right? So what Jesus came to do is to teach us all to forgive and have compassion so that essentially we don't rack up the karma. Yeah. Yeah, that was the whole kind of idea. By
The forgiving releases the karma.
and by being compassionate, treating every single thing with love, doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, you're never ever gonna build anything bad. You're never gonna build any of those negative energies in yourself. Your journey would be continually positive. So really, compassion being the way that you can view other in any regard, no matter what way you see them, no matter whatever's wrong with them, or whatever they've done to you, doesn't matter. Yeah, the way that you view them, if you've always got compassion and always got that love, yeah, then you're never ever going to be racking up like negative things moving forwards. Also, the other thing, this is about discernment. Discernment is a lot about the third eye. It's all about intuition. If you're not viewing this world with the right type of discernment, if you were viewing it, say, scientifically and only agree with scientific discern facts, this has to be a fact, or I'm not going to consider it. Yeah, then you would have a clue about any of the spiritual stuff at all. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you would
I
have
agree with
completely cold discernment on the universe. Yeah, there would be no life to it, there'd be no love to it, right? Then for compassion would mean fuck all, and so you need this intuitive discernment to be able to see that love, compassion, living the way that we should live is the best way, whatever. And it doesn't matter what circumstances, what else happens. That's why we're here, right? Anyway, sorry, Andre.
Oh no, it's fine. That was great. Thanks. I want to see Arpan. Did you want to chip in on this topic? You're not too busy. Okay.
No, I was eating now.
Okay.
So it's a great point. The only thing I want to add to what everybody said is I remember reading in the raw material that our logos, our particular logos, has a bias towards kindness. So kindness and compassion, I believe, are talked about as two different things, but they're still similar. And I think, but kindness is not universal. Like it's not like for other planets, perhaps, or just for other entities. And our particular experience has a bias towards kindness. What? Yeah, opposable thumbs.
He gave us thumbs, right?
Right. Yeah,
that was the bit where it's talking about kind of, that we get opposable thumbs. That makes us warlike creatures. But our logos is all about love. It wants to give us the option to be nice. But it gave us these to make sure we'd have an option. Anyway, sorry, RP man.
No, that's okay. That's all I wanted to kind of add some food for thought. That the journey of compassion, maybe it's part of the experience, or something to be experienced and grow from. Kind of like baking a cake, you have different ingredients to advance density, or for lack of a better word.
So I got here definitions for kindness can be seen as a behavior marked by acts of generosity, consideration, and friendliness. It often involves doing something good for others or showing concern for their well-being. And it's action-oriented. It has universal application. It's often visible, but it's independent of suffering. It does not necessarily require an awareness or understanding of the person's suffering or state of mind, and is a response to a general sense of goodwill towards others. Whereas compassion goes deeper than kindness. It is not just about kind actions, but about deep empathy and understanding of another's suffering and a desire to alleviate it. It's emotionally connected, inherently connected, and rooted in empathy, and it's not always visible. Compassionate actions might not always be visible or outwardly expressed, can be an internal feeling of empathy and concern. And it's tied to suffering. It's specifically related to suffering, and it's about recognizing suffering in others. And so comparison,
Discernment.
yeah. So kindness can be considered a broader concept that encompasses a range of benevolent behaviors, while compassion is more specific to empathizing with wanting to alleviate suffering. So I would guess that compassion would be a form of kindness. So when it's biased towards kindness, that includes compassion within it. Emotional depth. Compassion requires a deeper emotional connection. Actions versus feelings. Kindness is more about actions, and compassion is more about feelings, and compassion is more about a response to suffering. Mm-hmm. And so in terms of that journey bit here, so understanding, the third density, you guys probably know the service to others and the service to self. The role of compassion is a crucial quality to develop and express in the third density. Represents an understanding of empathic connection to others, transcending mere self-interest. And it's a guiding principle. As seekers move through the third density, compassion serves as a guiding light or lodestar. That's what lodestar means, a guiding light. It helps navigate through the complexities and difficulties of this density, which can often feel like a dark night due to the challenges and illusions one faces. And then moving towards fourth density, right? So that's our journey, that we're moving towards fourth density. The Confederation suggests that the progression from third to fourth is marked by a shift from a focus on individuality, which is like where we're learning about being independent, to a focus on love and understanding towards others. Compassion is a bridge between these densities, aiding in the transition. Compassion in daily life. In practical terms, developing compassion involves everyday choices and actions. And salvation through compassion, in this context, can be understood as a form of spiritual liberation or enlightenment, as it leads to salvation in the third density because it aligns individuals with the fundamental laws of the universe centered around service to others.
Yeah, dude. I was going to say about that as well. I don't mean to jump in, but the
Go ahead,
whole
go
idea that the intuition led part is the bit that that gives you the discernment to know when to have compassion, how to express the love in that way without being controlling. Because that was the other part of it, wasn't it? Like if you express your concern and your compassion in a way that essentially ignores that person's free will, then that's even if you do know better, it's not better.
Yeah, it's service to self.
Exactly. So that's what he was saying at the end there, right? So this whole idea of discernment of when to have compassion, essentially, or when do you
act in kindness
and it starts to become control. Yeah. Yeah. So also the discernment thing, the fourth density, like when you move to fourth density or whatever, apparently the whole idea is that we can manifest things, we can know what each other's thinking, we all connect up as whatever else. So that ability to discern the right spiritual thing to do is going to be vitally important moving forwards. The next steps in our spiritual growth, those things are going to be far more important. Understanding those things from that intuitive, yeah. You guys get what I'm saying, but like that, that's vitally important to fourth density consciousness. So that's why we have to learn those lessons of compassion to bring. So we're not bringing those negatively charged kind of mindsets into fourth density. I think is where I was trying to go. Anyway, sorry.
It's okay. And so the last final part of this was the ultimate destination, and it expands on that. It says, refers to the spiritual journey's end goal, which is often seen as reuniting with the one infinite creator or achieving a state of enlightened consciousness. Compassion is a key attribute that enables this reunification by dissolving the illusions of separation and fostering a sense of universal love and unity. All right. So, did we want to read on now? Or
Can I just say that bit at the end where he was talking about kind of the I know best mindset kind of thing?
Mhm.
Like, I'm sure everyone's experienced that at some point, right? Like where people have like thought that about you, and then they've tried to make you do things that essentially, like, that that's nonsense. You don't know better than me. Does anyone else? 'Cause I mean, I know I have. I've had people try to control me like that my whole life. I don't know about you guys, but part of the reason I live in a shack. Fuck that kind of control, man. I don't need
I
it.
frequently don't like to listen to other people, or if I do listen to them, it's like the wackiest version I can imagine. It's like a twist and a turn and a total detour of an adventure.
I mean, I listen to everybody, but I basically obey no one.
Right.
I think I'll make an image for this.
It's funny, Ed, how I'm at an age where I can almost use the age card and just, I'm old enough to where I can just be that way because I'm old enough.
I'm the
I just
elder, so
pretend
you
that
should
I am.
listen to me.
Yeah.
That's why I have the beard.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a beard too.
Yeah. You don't have this.
No, it's the white that gives you the wit, the pretend you could be old thing,
Yeah. That's where the.
Although, to be fair, all of this white stuff happened during after trauma events, so I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
So imagine what I must have gone through right here.
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
what happened
wow.
to you?
I think it really started to expand when I drove taxi cab in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but that was just because it got bleached, right?
No.
It was very stressful, I bet.
Yeah, like I'm going to a rave or something.
Yeah, that's it. Even out just all of the speed coming out, all that sulfur coming through your skin. Who knows?
But no, that wasn't me, Ed.
Oh, sorry. Just looked like you. I apologize.
So
The guy had brown hair.
there's a few paragraphs left in this.
I apologize. I lowered the tone. Crack on.
It's okay. Did you want to finish it, Robert?
Yeah, I'm on it. This does not necessarily mean that you cannot discern what might be a better step for you to take. It does not mean that you should not advocate for a type of society or societal arrangement that you believe can result in greater compassion for all. But it does ask you to inquire within the self whether or not you are acting and seeing with the eyes of compassion, whether it is discerning your own actions or the actions of another self, whether you are bringing what you might call baggage or distortions into that perception. For we have found that this is inevitable. It is almost impossible for an entity within the third density to act with pure, complete transparency of self. And as we have described within this meeting, it is an act of failing and stepping back within that failure and witnessing the present moment as a result of that seeming failure. And if this is done in faith and with compassion for self and other self, that failure can then discover itself as opportunity for the self to unpack and untangle those distortions that one has brought to one's perceptions and one's actions, and then arrange the self in greater alignment with compassion and step out again and to try again to act in service to others and to the one infinite creator. And again, one inevitably discovers that one has brought an illusory self to this task that has presented itself as a seeming failure, and again performs this assessment and integration of each experience upon this journey. The third density is not one in which you are expected to discover a pure, unadulterated compassion. Perfection is not the province of your time within this density, except for the perfection that you may discover within the imperfection that you witness within self and within other self. You will find that it will take many lifetimes to finally hone compassion as we have described it. And it is simply the attempt to discover this love and to express this compassion that we describe as the salvation of third density. For it is this attempt that is the true expression of self that will deliver the self beyond the boundary of third density into fourth density. We describe this as an attempt because it will not always succeed in the way that you believe it should. But trust and move in faith that the very attempt itself holds the infinite power of the one infinite creator. And its seeming failure is itself a movement made within the divine creation, for the failure is only illusory. The greatest discernment is this realization, that there is nothing that can go awry within the one infinite creation. And the best thing that any seeker can do when met with the tangle of confusion of the solution is to rest in the faith of this perception. We correct this instrument of this perfection. And when one is called again to move with that faith and in confidence that the Creator moves with, one in all circumstances. At this time, we will take leave of this instrument and transfer the contact to the one known as Trish. We are Quo.
Yep. All right. Well, that was a packed channeling by us.
I love reading Quo, though. It feels like I'm with them. You know, it feels like somebody's talking to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
just love how much you sound like Terrence McKenna, man. Like, seriously, it blows my mind.
Thank you, Ed. And that's with the bronchial situation, too.
If anything, it helps.
Yeah, that the beer hall, you know, that the cigarette smoking sound.
Like, I think if you actually kind of tried to do an impression of him, it would take so little tiny changes to your voice. It would just be... Oh, honestly. Like, next book, can you just read, like, Food of the Gods instead?
That'd be fun, huh?
Yeah, I'd happily sit there and listen to you read Food of the Gods as an audiobook all day long. In fact, can I like deep fake your voice and just get your voice to read me books all day? It'd be great.
Wow. And Des said something similar a couple weeks back. That sounds like a good business proposition.
I'd buy your voice.
I'm not asking for money. I didn't want to bring it to that level. But
yeah, well, deep fakes are easy now. I saw one. I saw a series of of deep fake Christmas carols with Klaus Schwab in them.
Yeah, deep faking's like too easy. 2024 is going to be the year that you'll wish you had more. I don't know.
So it seems the key points in this section by Austin was discernment as a guiding tool, discernment essential for aligning with personal ideals and desires, and the role of compassion and the interplay of discernment and compassion, balancing discernment and compassion. So I guess this is kind of like discernment here is wisdom and compassion is love, and we're balancing the two. Balancing discernment with compassion prevents the exacerbation of separation, fostering a journey towards unity and love. So I guess this is kind of like where you become overly discerning. It's like, oh, that's other, and this is me. But if you balance it with love, then you realize that that person has that space and I have this space, but we can still love and be kind to each other.
And we see it even, Ed, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, the split experiment, the dual slit. That's what that is. That's they expected to see one thing and they got both. They expected just singularity and it was plurality, but it was one. It's still one.
100%. Wave particle duality, man. You know something I found out very, very recently? You know, when they do quantum entanglement, when they fire the photons down the electron beam into the dual split experiment, the laser, the little camera that they always describe, all of those things are quartz crystals.
Yeah, all of the optics. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like each thing that they use for these quantum experiments comes down to quartz crystals.
Right. So yeah, we're relying.
So what? Like scientists just hippies now? What has gone on with science? God damn
it.
Well, you know, there's that famous paranormal researcher. I don't remember, but he wrote Noetic Universe, and then like in some subsequent books, he detailed how like they have proven beyond the shadow of any reasonable doubt that paranormal phenomenon not only exists, you know, but is reproducible and like everyone can do it. And but like the hardline skeptics, even like it doesn't matter how much you prove something, it's a religious thing. Like they're hardline materialists, and so like even if they're like they had the skeptics involved in the process, coming up with all of the ways that all of the procedures that they would need, and they implemented all of the procedures, had all of the, you know, extra steps, and they even had the skeptic in the room, you know, to make sure there was no funny business. And still, the skeptic was like, no, something might have happened. I don't know what, but something.
Dude, have you ever been on any of the Facebook groups that are like atheist versus theists?
Yes.
Nope.
So you get hardcore religious people arguing with hardcore like militant atheists. Yeah, it's some of the craziest people I've ever seen because they're both wrong. Like fundamentally in everything they're arguing about. You've got like non-apologetic people like throwing scripture all over the place with no idea what it really means, believing that the word for word thing is what it is and they should all have slaves and shit. And then you've got like hardcore like quantum physicists on there going, there's nothing at the bottom. And then you've got like me sitting in the middle going, ha ha, you're both wrong. And I can literally prove, oh, that's wrong. Yeah, I can say that's wrong. I can say this wrong and show you the papers.
Well, I think that, you know, the Confederation would say there's no mistakes, so they're not wrong.
Of course.
There are only surprises that they haven't.
This is it. So meeting me, yeah, was no mistake for them people. They were all surprised when they heard the truth. Just saying.
Well, I think that applies to this group in general too. Meeting Ed we were surprised after.
Yeah, and here, understanding failures. This is one of our things.
Hey, look, this is something I understand well.
Missteps and failures are integral to the journey, offering opportunities for growth and realignment with one's path. There you go. I don't know if there was more on that. Failures. Case of failures may often give an entity the opportunity and desire, shall we say, to reform the expression of love through a greater dissemination and discrimination of this feeling to those about one, and perhaps even to the self, which is often the source and focus as well, for these feelings of separation and non-acceptance, anger and fear. There you go. All right.
Can I just say, jumping in at this point,
Mhm.
I've always kind of struggled with my yellow ray and acceptance of self and things,
Mhm.
and some of the stuff he's talking about here. But the other day, when I tested out my little fungal babies, I had like such incredible realizations about the self. It really, really, like, it was really quite a powerful realization. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
It became ineffable.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like one of those things that like the way I view myself is the way I view myself, and I don't understand why that's different for others. But yeah, I had some like huge realization-y things that just made it all kind of very clear, and so I had a kind of much better, I guess, much more acceptance of myself after the experience. It's quite wonderful. Anyway, I apologize for interrupting.
Well, it's okay. You're contributing.
Well,
So,
really, I actually showed a lot of compassion to myself.
well, that's very good.
Because of
That's
these
very good.
things, exactly as
Mhm.
he's talking about.
Mhm.
Like I did that the other day, and it
Very
was
good.
very, very powerful. Just
Very
Yeah.
good.
And
Excellent.
in one of the quote channelings somewhere, it talks about how it's a good thing to talk to your body, the parts, each conscious unit that makes up each working, functioning unit within the whole thing. Give them thanks and praise for their job well done.
dude, that right there is my entire health regime. Yeah,
I could
don't bother
believe it.
work out. I
Yeah,
don't really eat. I don't really
yeah.
sleep. I don't really do any of the normal things that you need to do to like live. But I literally just sit there and I pour in orange ray and I tell all of my little cells they're the most amazing things and I love each singular one with like full love and every cell is like a little individual person I love. And if there's anything wrong, if I've got anything damaged or I feel ill in any way, then I speak to those cells.
And
If I'm
they speak back too, I hope.
well, generally I feel better a lot of the time, so that helps.
Because
But
I've
yeah,
actually thought I've had communication sent back to me. I'm and I'm either just imagining it very well and enjoying the game, the stage, the play, whatever. But it does seem like there's a communication to me.
well, I think that's something I've had to tune out because otherwise my lungs would be going, Ed, stop smoking for God's sake,
Yeah, really.
stop it.
You would be hearing it day and night. Yeah.
Yeah, like so, it's probably best if I just just talk to them, know they're there, show the love.
So what do you think about this? This is something I saw that Aaron Abke guy talk about, where he says that before you were born, Creator had this perfect image of you in its mind. So then you're born, and then all the catalyst happens, the third density stuff, and you are hit with so many variances that you're not that image the Creator had anymore. So one way to help your health is to tap into that image because you are.
It's a lovely analogy. It's beautiful if working as an egregor, but as an actual philosophy, there's way too much separation in there, right?
But it's because
And
of
and
the
and and
it's
there's also
because of the
too much
perception
giving
of
away your
that.
power, man. I came into this body because this is the exact lesson I needed to learn. I designed. I know what I came in here to do. Yeah, if there was some perfect design of me in the mind of the creator, then it was in the mind of me
That's
as
what I
one
said.
with the
Yeah,
creator.
that's what I was
You
saying.
know?
You tap into that.
Yeah.
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 You remember. You
Yeah. I
remember.
agree with that. It's just I wouldn't. Yeah. Like
You
I
have to
said, the
remember
idea that
the
I was
future.
dreamt by someone else is the issue for me. Because consciousness is key here. It's the flow. It's the thread. It's the thing that but joins all the souls together.
Absolutely.
You know. So you know if I'm a figment of somebody else's imagination, is my whole soul stream that? Am I just an NPC? Or have I made the game?
I like that NPC thing. What's you trying to say, Andre?
Oh, just that there's 2 more sections to
Oh,
this
dude,
answer.
sorry. Please
It's
carry on.
okay.
Just ignore me chatting, man. Dive in. You know, ask. Don't be silly.
Don't worry, Ed. You're definitely not an NPC. We know that.
Yeah, we know that.
Well, you know, yeah, I think I know that too, but is that just what an NPC would say?
Exactly. And other NPCs. What if you're all them and you're all agreeing with each other? Yeah.
Well, then it'd be a pretty boring conversation.
Well, we're all one infinite creator, so even those NPCs in those games.
Oh yeah, essentially we are. We are that. We all NPCs in God's game.
Yeah. Well, you can't play any other character. You can only play yourself. An NPC means non-playable character.
So they can't play with themselves. That's sad.
Oh, Fred.
Hey, if I ever make a computer game, I'm gonna have a wanking NPC just for that.
All right, Robert, did you want to continue, or should I? Or
I don't know if I can. I can't.
Okay,
now.
that's fine. All right, I think everyone else is busy. We are those of Kuo. This is Trisha channeling. We are those of Kuo, and we are now with this instrument. This discussion on the elements of this illusory experience you call discernment is one that is measurably potent in this current configuration of the third density experience. We see this creation as many moving pieces in terms of the creator expressing itself, infinite extensions, infinite roles, infinite players in the game. Picture, if you will, the components of an atom, the neutrons, protons, and electrons, moving pieces that are attracted, that have attractions and repulsion that steer the atom in directions, be it toward another atom or away from another atom. It is this pull and push that we see the creation experiencing on a macro and micro level. Entities in the third density at this time are themselves reflections of this dynamic. This self-awareness that is experienced in this density can be seen as a contributing force for this attraction and repulsion. And by attraction and repulsion, we do not mean in a negative sense. We mean merely in terms of decision-making or of the calculations an entity takes. An entity undergoes the crossroads, if you will, the mapping of the incarnational journey, so that when an entity, much like an atom, is provided input, be that from the environment, from the other self, from the elements outside of its detection in your illusory experience, the entity calls upon the information within itself, the protons, the electrons, to determine its own perceptions, to determine its direction forward. In that sense, it is the calculations, the observance of this dynamic within the self that we see this act of discernment. Discernment can be seen as the measure of the weight put upon various aspects of the self. The perceptions, the values, the motivations all play parts in this action of discernment. Given the highly unique and fragmented way of this third density illusion, at least in how it is experienced in your time, there are infinite possibilities for a soul to make sense, if you will, of this input, to codify in it in some way, to attach value judgments. This is a function of the lesson to be learned within this density, that there is a kind of self-improvement and self-reliance and self-awareness that is granted those in this experience, and those elements are part of the tapestry of this creation. They present to the self and the creator infinitely unique opportunities, infinitely unique avenues for the exploration and for experience. In that way, discernment on a larger scale has no negative or positive value to it. There are no mistakes in this creation. The discernment is a vehicle toward progression, and naturally the coarse soul may deepen heavily upon the element of discernment. However, the larger scale project, if you will, sees no error, sees only each fragment of the Creator as perfectly imperfect, as working together in one creation. We do not mean to invalidate the, at times, painful experiences an entity may feel. We do not mean to diminish the challenges, the difficult decisions, the hard realizations, and the confusing environment in which the entities must navigate. We see those challenges and we recognize the difficulties inherent in existing, of dancing, if you will, in this delusion at this time. We mean only to bring a sense of lightness to the experience. Often there is much weight put upon the exercise of discernment. There is great responsibility viewed in the practice of making decisions or deciphering one's perspective. And those are worthy exercises. Those are meaningful forays for the Creator to understand itself and its many facets. The pressure, though, is one that can potentially create complication in this practice of discernment. The desire to have things right, for lack of better phrasing, can cloud one's judgment from the position of unconditional love. The feeling of responsibility can provide distortions or roadblocks that keep the self from realizing the larger picture. The self-awareness can lead to that feeling of separation, that there is self and other self, and that the distance between the two is great and potentially causing confusion in one's attempt to discern. We recognize these challenges, and we feel immensely inspired by those who continue to actively try to bridge the gap between otherness to find unity. And we would simply state that one may utilize this tool of discernment in support of that orientation of unconditional love, of service to others, as has been mentioned. There is great power in recognizing the self's motivations, the self's incarnational experiences, the self's biases, and then removing those from the input that may cloud the judgment of the perspective of the observation. To truly look through the window of the open heart with a clearer pane of glass allows the self to more fully view what you call reality, what you see as this configuration of entities co-creating this experience. Trauma and intention of an egoic nature can dirty that glass pane, can make it difficult to open the window of the open heart. So it is in the ability of the entity to recognize itself as a larger whole, to recognize the other self as an equal part of that larger whole, that one may begin to brush off the blemishes of the clear glass pane, that one may loosen the frame so that the window may open to the fresh air. This is done only with a sense of grace and patience for the self and for others, knowing that there will be times when the glass cleaner is empty, the rags are all dirty, the energy to wipe off that glass pane simply impossible to find. That is the gift of the experience in this density, that when you have these moments of challenge that cloud your judgment, that you are still given, or that you create rather, additional opportunities to revisit that, to experience something new, to open the heart more fully, to witness the connection between self and other self. Through those experiences and purposeful intention setting, one may more fully hone the ability to discern, to see it as one's ability to open the heart, to view the creation in its most unbalanced way, and to hold that creation with respect and love and a genuine desire to serve it. This instrument feels as though itself is having difficulty discerning whether these messages are coming through clearly. Just doesn't have very high self-confidence.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really good. Like, there's a lot in there.
I think so too.
That kept reminding me of my mate John. You know, like I've had like that dude that was on the voice call that time. You know, like and me and him, we always clash on these spiritual things. Whereas, you know, we read stuff different ways, and I try to kind of show him what I think that it means, and you know, the bigger picture of these stuff. And you know, and I do get really angry when it just seems like unable to connect. And a lot of the time, I feel like completely and totally alone because I haven't got anyone that I can talk to about this stuff. You know, like half the people, the books I read, half the people are dead. Let alone like the, you know. Anyway, the point is, like, I get totally what Co's saying there, like fully, like the challenges all of this causes, and that discernment on when to fight the battles, I suppose. When to give people information, and when to just know that they'll get there on their own or whatever. Anyway, sorry.
Profound stuff, though. Really is.
Yeah. I'm just having a little trouble with my screen here. So you just could bear with me here.
I know the desire to always be right was the one that really got me, because I know I've been that way.
That's literally my whole thing. Across the board. You know,
Yeah.
I like when
It
I went
might
into
be the
therapy
most
and that.
common.
No, I mean when I went into therapy, I kind of made this choice. That's why I went back to university. You know, like I'd said things and I believed things that were fundamentally wrong because I didn't know. So
Right.
I made it my mission to like not say anything unless I have some faith and knowledge in the thing I'm saying. You know, not that I always want to be right, but that I have some kind of information, but like data, evidence to back up things that I say, I suppose. Um, but then that leads to a thing of feeling like I'm right because I've always got evidence. I've always got a thing.
Exactly.
You know, don't get me wrong. Like it's put there to stop me from going crazy. You know, like I know that this is fact. You know, but then does that also lead me to overlook things because I say I dismiss things because I don't understand them? I suppose. I don't know. Just a yeah.
Well, it comes down to, when somebody disagrees with you on something, you can say, well, I have this, and this evidence that makes me logically come to this conclusion. If you have evidence that supports something otherwise that can contradict everything that I've evidenced towards my conclusion, please, by all means, tell me because I want to be correct. I mean, that's totally negating any involvement in a disagreement. You say our disagreement isn't.
That is fully me, man. I don't want to argue. You can argue with this fact. You can argue with this book. You can argue with this philosophy. You can argue
Yeah,
with this ideology. It's never argue with me. Yeah,
yeah.
because the fact is, if I'm talking about something from me, then it won't be an argument. It'll always be, this is my opinion. This is how I view it, and I'm not going to argue about that. Do you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
fact stuff. You're right about facts, unless the facts are wrong, and as a scientist, you do have to go to just accept that as a thing. Otherwise,
Well, I
the world
I
is
think
stacked.
sometimes that's why a lot of these hardcore mainline scientist minded people get really shooken because they even if they start to subscribe to a little bit of the spiritual aspect of things, it's a very slippery slope for them because looking at it from their perspective, they're seeing a bunch of hippies saying, there's no such thing as time. Time doesn't exist. Reality is an illusion. And to an incredibly materialistically minded person, that sounds batshit crazy. It does. I mean, so I don't really, I kind of, have to halt the horse with the extreme judgment or the snap judgment of, saying, well, you're just closed minded. But in actuality, I mean, that's how they're seeing it. Because a lot of times you don't know what they're seeing online. You don't know what TV show those peoples have seen and what spaceship Ruthie they've heard talking about shit, and then thinking that, okay, well, you're in the same category as the crazy person that I see and that was committed or whatever. Then they
See,
group it
that's
all
that's the
together.
guy. That's the guy I don't want to be again. Yeah. So instead, I went for the kind of the science route. There's
Yeah.
papers. There's stuff. There's research. There's things. And then after that, I went for. But okay, can I just say, yeah, what you were just talking about? I was one of those hardcore militant atheists. Yeah, when I went mad, I put aside all things I could prove. I could, yes, I've seen things, yes, I've experienced things, but I don't know if I had some kind of episode. I don't know. Right? I can't. I'm fucking 100% sure I didn't. But let's, in terms of dissociative episodes, who the hell knows? So I put all of those things aside. Yeah, now there's this thing I read ages ago that when you start doing science, when you start thinking in that super logical right brain way, you close off the bridge between the two. So you close down the creative thinking side, and therefore you close down the kind of link that fuels your third eye. So the actual intuitive connection to the world goes. So the more that you do science, yeah, the harder it is for you to perceive the world that way. Now, there's this brilliant saying, yeah? There's two different versions of it. Francis Bacon said it. I can't remember his version, but it was better. But the Louis Pasteur said it. He said, a little science drags you away from God, but a lot of science drags you back. And that's basically how most proper scientists view it. Yeah, they started off, they got all into it, they started doing the science, they started thinking, yes, doesn't matter, everything's just atoms. And then they started seeing things, they started doing things that makes them think, well, wait a sec. Science is science. It's all spirituality. We're all just philosophers.
And it's
Science
funny,
is
Yeah,
only a
Louis
way
Pasteur. Yeah.
is only a branch of philosophy.
they even have little temporal variation studies where time doesn't exist or time doesn't. That topic of time existing is a real one amongst scholars trying to figure out stuff and time. Yeah, there's easy to believe that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, is it like that tachyon that they always go on about in Star Trek? Isn't that kind of supposed to be kind of a fundamental unit, space-time unit of time? So
It's a
it's supposed to work in the same
first
flow
particle to
as
move.
space in a directionality away from the Big Bang using these particles that then transfer movement via through the whatever. But then you've
With
got
a
the whole thing
particle.
that it all happened all at once, and you're just seeing kind of the
Oh
the,
yeah,
the shock wave.
yeah.
You know, there's lots of these things. The tetragrammaton, pentagammaton way of viewing it. I like that one.
With a tachyon
Reality
are the
transurfing, where
first
everything that can happen has
particles.
happened.
So, oh,
What's that?
yeah. There's another quote. First sculpt from the
Oh wow,
glass,
yeah.
natural science will make you an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting for you. Yeah,
Wow, that's like the third person. Like Francis
yeah,
Bacon said basically the same thing, and
hmm
yeah, then Louis Pasteur as well.
yeah,
It's a great statement, and it's totally true. I basically went as far as science goes. Yeah, like
hmm
every single rabbit hole, every single cool thing that science is researching, right on the cutting edge of all of it. And you know what most of it's saying? Oh, wait a sec, we just found God, man.
yeah.
I'm not even
So,
joking.
if we go through what the section we read here, it just got a few points. Some of them Ed's already covered. Discernment as decision making, because you were talking about, you know, discerning whether or not it was real or not. And so how I do that is I figure if other people agree, then it's real, and otherwise, no. And one of the things I like to put disclaimers on a lot of my things because, like, say for instance, like my past life memories, there's no way of proving them. So it's just like if it doesn't resonate with you, just consider it science fiction, and I'm totally okay with that.
I have to say, after my meditation the other day, I'm not sure I want to know much more about past Ed. He looks like a total dick.
Yeah, I wonder about myself sometimes when I get involved in certain situations and I end up doing certain things because I feel bad. Maybe it's compassion, understanding, sympathy, and then I think I'll even feel guilty about not being able to do enough, to help in a situation, and then I think, God, I must have been a real fucking raging asshole in my last life. That's all I could think of. I must have had some serious shit to level out.
Okay,
Yeah,
right. Can everyone just I'm sorry to interrupt, Andre, but see if you can help me
yes.
out with this theory. Okay, so
Okay.
in this meditation, yeah, I connected with my higher self, and my higher self looked like some horrifically grotesque monster, like horrific. Like I couldn't even connect to it because it was so negatively polarized. Whenever I tried to reach out to it with love, it's like I burnt it, and then literally, I started absorbing the love energy from me, and it literally had to morph and change itself to a way that it could communicate with me, because it was so over the other side. And basically, I just had to like beam so much love at it before it could morph itself to the point that it could even talk to me. So that was weird. So,
Wait, may I interject on that real quick before I lose it?
Go ahead.
It's like a filter. You're seeing it at the level you're allowed to see it expressed as for yourself. That doesn't mean it was monstrous in appearance. It only had
no. I'm
only
not
had
saying
the
that it actually
appearance
looks
of
like that.
monstrosity.
Of course, don't be silly. No, nothing in your brain works like that. It's a meditation space. It's all fractals of algorithmic patterns. What I'm saying is that
is for being what?
it was more of a flow of energy between me and it that I gave visualization to. Would that be a better way of describing it?
Yeah.
Because really, like I said, in meditation, it's not like I'm making it up. I didn't make up what that looked like. I didn't think about it, of how it looked in my head. When I interacted with it, that's what it looked like. Now, don't get me wrong, like the way that its vibration was translated by my mind may well have given it that grotesque appearance, but the reason it did is because of the way that I perceived its vibration. It's the best way I can describe it.
It sounds like a feedback loop. Yeah.
But then this is what I'm saying. So then I went to, like, after that, yeah, and communicating with it and trying to say, I recognize that my point of me being here is to beam as much love as I can at you, so that you depolarize enough to go to the seventh, density. That's kind of what I'm viewing it,
And
what it wants from me in this
I am
incarnation.
open and receptive to your love emanations and am thankful for them.
Exactly. So that's it. Just beaming it out there, And then I went into my past life, and I'm pretty sure that I was a Nazi, and I died with all bombs and explosions going off all around me, and all like burned and fire and stuff.
Me too.
And yeah, weirdly after that, like I said about that to my girlfriend, and she said, "Do you reckon that's why you've got eczema?" Because all my skin got burnt off in my past life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's apparently a common reason for those kinds of issues.
When I was 9,
like if you get a birthmark, that's like the site of injury of where you killed last life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if all my skin got burnt off by some fucking huge fucking bomb going off on my face while I'm trying to do some fucking Nazi fucking occult ritual thing, then that's why I got eczema.
Well, you won't do that again.
It's like the next part of
Benny
the
has
story.
a similar thing.
Anyway,
Skin condition.
sorry, this is my recent experience. I'm still trying to get my head around it. You know what it's like? You have a major mad meditation, and then you spend the next fucking 2 weeks trying to process what the fuck you just saw. Like that's how I know that it was real. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. Like, if it's just a daydream, it's a daydream. You could have 1,000 of them a day. Dude, that was fucking different level.
Yeah, it was like about 2 weeks ago, I had a bear all of a sudden appear, and it was snout to nose, and this huge bear was right there. And it took me on a journey into the future, and we went to a white city. And
wow.
And it was showing me all these things happening in a peaceful time that is happening on Earth.
Oh wow, man! I had a very similar thing the other day where I went into kind of a fourth density kind of version of Earth, where basically the cities were like huge, like floating quartz crystals,
Nice.
massive things. They look like cities, but huge, like crystalline things. And then when we went in, that was basically the crystal is what housed the social memory complex. So as we went in, we were individualized when we were out in the world, but then we came back in and we all kind of harmonized inside the crystal and became part of the social memory complex thing. It was so fucking awesome, man. And I could fly, and I had wings, and like the blue skin that I know I've got. Why do I know that I've got blue skin? What the fuck is this? Anyway,
Hey, do they
yeah,
have
flying
white
around.
freckles? White
Fifth
freckles?
density. Fifth density. They have blue.
What is?
Well, fifth density. Usually the host bodies are bluish because the density. It's the throat chakra.
Throat chakra, yeah.
Yeah, and it's light blue, and so the bodies tend to
Okay,
be light blue,
dude.
just like the Arcturians.
Every single meditation that I have, where I kind of strip off the human shell, there is like what looks like a blue elf, big pointy ears, blue skin. Kind of looks a little bit like Panthro from Thundercats.
Or Naruto?
All right, I'm gonna try to. Okay,
Naruto.
do the description
Naruto
again, and we'll try to get ChatGPT to generate it.
Okay, so
Blue elf
I'm
creature.
the blue, yeah, blue skinned,
But
elf like long elf like ears, but with a kind of like rounded, flattened face, not like like kind of like Panthro from Thundercats.
Hold on, flattened.
do they have
face.
freckles or specks?
Kind of like Panthro from
Not
what?
that I've noticed.
From Thundercats. Okay,
Yeah. I have wings.
wings.
Yeah, like kind of angelic-y, kind of angel-y type wings, but more like they look like that, but instead of feathers, it's kind of like little beams of light that fire out of it. And I wear kind of like robes, yeah, but not like toga robes, more like Knights Templar kind of robes.
Knights Templar. Okay. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's just good glimpses. There's loads more to it than that, but that's a good description I can give of the overall form.
We'll see what it comes up with. You tell us if there's any resemblance.
If this is like, oh my god, that's exactly the picture I remember. I'll be fucking
No, I don't think
out
so,
and shit
man.
the world crazy.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah.
That's the first time I've actually seen a picture of me.
Well, it'll be an approximation based on this description, I think.
Well, two cat-like.
Two cat-like. Okay.
Although I really like that. That's fucking cool, though, right?
Yeah. So, no fur.
Yeah, less Panthro, but like like it's still a human face rather than a cat face, but it's more like the kind of like a skinhead. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't know if the Panthro is the best description then.
Not first. Okay.
Get rid of the cat ears.
Yeah, well, he wanted.
Although I do love cat ears,
right? So that kind of. Okay.
Yeah, like big long elf ears, not like cat ears. Yeah, no, no fur.
Well, hopefully this time it'll get it. I don't know.
Is there some kind of law against
Oh
men?
man, no, it's. Yeah. Oh well, it doesn't.
No.
It's a miss. It's a miss. It's
Still two cat. Anyway, yeah, I think the Panthro thing confused it, but that's the kind of the weird me that I see in future time versions of myself.
Yeah, I have an idea. I can use a different one that generates multiple images, and then we won't say anything about the Thundercats.
Okay.
Okay, where is the Thundercats? Take that out. All right.
Flattened 2 T's.
Oh, well, it'll understand.
I know it wanted it corrected though. It
Oh, I see.
It's allowing you free will.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh man, we're almost done here. There's like 2 minutes left.
Sorry, I just monopolized it with my silly nonsense. I apologize, guys.
It's okay. I don't think this quite captures it. I think I see what you're saying though. Like I could see it when you were describing it.
Yeah, that first one's not so far. Oh, yeah, it's like it's this. The ears are more kind of up the side of my head. More like imagine like a friendly orc. Like not like a big orc face.
Okay,
but,
I'm not gonna. because
like
then it's going to
human
look
features.
way
I
too
don't
much.
bloody know how to describe it. It's like I said, it's not me imagining
Yeah.
it. It
Yeah,
comes
it's-
in.
You know, I could see it telepathically. I'm just not very good at drawing. So
No.
Our AI image generator in our brain works better than the one on the computer.
yeah,
So
Well then,
we're just not as good
there you
at
go. I
drawing.
just sent you all guys a crystal clear image of me. I think I look pretty cool.
Vertically up.
Yeah, that's
It's
the guy
better.
on the right. That's curious. He has such a strong halo, that single line halo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not too far off. That is not too far off at all, really. To be fair, a little bit kind of wider set, but that's not so far off.
It's
No,
just
the
not
first
very
one's
good at
better.
the ears for some reason.
Yeah, no, they're
One on the
pointing
left there.
outside. They're too sidewaysy.
Yeah, yeah.
It should be more
That one is
uppy.
Oh well.
something I visited.
Anyway,
Yeah.
seriously cool. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I look something similar to an entity that's similar-ish to that. Ish.
ish. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you guys were showing self-awareness and growth. You and Fred, Ed, and navigating complexity, and there's no mistakes, and aligning with unconditional love, embracing challenges, open-hearted observation, grace and patience. All very good. Very good. All right.
What was that?
Grace and patience.
Oh.
Oh, did you want me to make it bigger?
Yeah, what is it?
Oh, this was just the summary of the
Oh,
sections
okay.
we read.
Sorry. Couldn't see it. Someone's phoning it. Sorry.
Kuo describes discernment as a vital element in third density experience, akin to dynamic forces within an atom. It's a process of decision making and navigating complexities, vital for spiritual progression and aligning with the Creator's essence. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we'll resume the rest of this next time. If you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, is it gonna be next Friday or we re-adjourning after Christmas?
I don't know. Should we? What's the date? The 29th? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm free on the 29th. Let's do it.
I'm free.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I have no objections right now. Anyways, I'll tell you guys later in the week if I can't make it. But at this point, I don't have anything scheduled. All right. So, here, I'll just open this. Okay. So as we found you, we leave you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and in the peace of the one infinite Creator.
And so it is.
Love you guys.
All right.